Hey guys, today we're up against XK9 and Ghost, Herc, and Quaker Band. So for this war, I've got a pretty big Doom war. So up first, we've got this Terrax on Note 10. The main thing to watch out for is a lot of your parries are gonna be failed. It's an unduped Terrax, which doesn't really matter for using Doom here. But if you were using like say Mole Man, this fight would be a lot slower to use the Mole Man for, since you don't get that immediate start and frenzy. Um, but since we're using Doom, the undupe doesn't really change much. And yeah, it's a very, very safe fight with Doom, you know? You go for those L2s with the 200% Mystic, they're gonna do a lot of damage, they're gonna get the weaknesses off of you, and they're gonna put good spacing and give a lot of power back, which is just nice. And then here I eat Terrax's L1, uh, which is pretty silly, but yeah. Then we just throw our own L2, and we're good. The weakness falls off in time, which was quite nice. Let us get full damage on our L2, and yeah, Terrax is dead at this point. Yeah, very safe matchup with Doom. And next up, we have a Mixmaster Nova. Again, a pretty safe matchup with Doom. These were my two easier Doom fights. After this, I start getting some more complicated ones. But yeah, Nova on Mixmaster with Doom. I'm just gonna block like all of those at once and everything. And yeah, we have Mystic Dispersion 5 and a 200% Mystic, so we're gonna be getting off a lot of L3s for damage. And yeah, very safe matchup. You know, there's not much that can go wrong. You can go for these medium, light, heavy combos to keep control of Mixmaster, and none of the other nodes matters. None of Nova's abilities really come into play here either. So yeah, very simple Doom fight. I do think I mess up later on in this fight, because I just suck sometimes. But yeah, you're gonna get a lot of damage, and you're gonna be very hard to kill. So you know, it's Doom. It's a Doom fight. I don't really know what else commentary can add. And for this L3, we kind of do some altered combos, but I mess up and go for the light for some reason, which was dumb. Um, but yeah, and then here, I could have thrown this L2. I decided instead I'm just gonna go for my own L3. Just take it a little bit slower. You could have definitely thrown that L2. I don't think it would have been a bad decision necessarily. I just felt more comfortable going for another L3 in the moment, so I went for another L3. And after this L3, the fight is pretty much over, you know? It's going to be pretty hard for Nova to recover from this point in a fight. And yeah, I don't know why I did this. I'm trying my best to let Nova recover, but yeah. Fight's over. Um, Decent fight, I guess. Next up, we have a Smite Peni with Doom. This is my first time doing this matchup. It sounded really good in paper, and it went about as I expected it to go. I think in the future, I probably want to have a read on the team for this fight for those armor breaks, just so my combos are doing pretty good damage. I think that would be a really nice touch for this fight, is having a read. Both for the Petrify and the Armor Break, I think that would help a lot. But just House of X alone is definitely good enough to make Doom a good counter to this fight. It's pretty hard to die to this fight, you know. You can eat out threes and you'll take some power burn damage, but it won't kill you. And you can, you know, there's the main way you can possibly die with Doom against Peni is from her L2. And yeah, I'm just doing some strategies to get as many hits as possible into that White Magneto pre-fight with lights and stuff. And yeah. And the main thing that I have to pay attention is Penny is Incinerate immune, and this is Spite. So if I go for my L2 cycle after an L3, chances are it might not kill unless I get Penny quite low before I do so. Unless I get Penny like really low, I'm not gonna throw the L3 just yet. I'm just gonna hold it. You are fine to throw it once you get to a comfortable spot with that, but I'm gonna hold it for now. And yeah, just spading these L1s, doing my medium light heavies. There's really not much commentary I can give on this fight again. But yeah, we get Penny down to 49%. Due to her low health pool, and how big I'm boosted, 49% is kind of the point I estimated where, yeah, it'll be safe to go for my L3 at this point. When I go for lights, I probably should have gone for a light, medium combo there instead of what I did go for, but it didn't matter. And yeah, we get off our L2, and it just kills. We get some lucky crits. We would have eaten an L3, but we did have an invuln if I didn't get the crit RNG. But yeah, the L3 wouldn't have killed me, and I'd be able to end Penny really quickly. So I think that's a safe matchup. I'm probably going to do more in the future. And now this fight is where I really play poorly. Both strategically and just I eat hits and get parried a lot. It's a really poor fight, but where I messed up was I didn't factor in how important aspect of evolution and ending this fight quickly would have been. And what I should have done, instead of taking the fight slow, how I would on a footloose node or something, I should have gone for throwing L2s. And if I had gone for throwing L2s, the fight would have been over before Aspect of Evolution started becoming a worry. And the reason why Aspect of Evolution is actually a worry with Doom here is because it increases the crit rate, which, normally you can't get crit against Doom with Maw, he just doesn't have enough crit rate, but with Aspect of Evolution, he can crit, and it gives some chance of actually dying if you play poor enough. So yeah. I should have thrown this L2 right here. If I had thrown this, fight would have been significantly cleaner. But since it is just a safe, super safe matchup, we are fine at this point regardless. I can definitely clean up from here. Aspect Evolution is starting to kick in with the power, and you can see he crit me there, which is what I was talking about. And here, this was a panic L3. I make another strategic mistake, and I should not have thrown this L3. It's not too bad, the L3 itself. The main issue is it just gives more Aspect of Evolution, and it puts Maw at a little under 2 bars, which means he's going to be throwing a lot of L1s real quick. And it's going to be hard to get much damage in for a little bit. So what this does is just slows down the fight. I do think it was the right call in the moment to just give me a little bit of time to think for how I would finish this fight up. But you don't want to be doing that ideally. And next up we have a Mojo on 47. And for this Mojo fight, the main thing you want to do is get into the L3 cycle. It's a fairly simple fight with Doom, actually. Um, there's really not much to it. It's a fairly simple Doom cycle fight. Yeah, we're gonna go for 2 L3s here. I think I went for 2 L3s. I can't fully remember. But yeah, I start with a PS1. This is to just get me immediate power control. And this is the real trick for this fight, is starting with that PS1. And yeah, it's better to dex out of that L1 than to, what's it called, than to block it. But now with this L1, obviously we can block that because we're ready to go. And that's why you start with the PS1. So even if you get bad RNG like I did there, you're going to be good to go. And once you get into this L3 cycle, it's pretty easy to get the fight going. Now on here, I hesitated for a little bit. So I messed up getting that medium, and Doom cycle combo because I, for some reason, just didn't hit in after my L3. I don't really know. But yeah, now here's the indestructible. I'm hoping to nullify that. I don't, but I do get to this L3 anyway. And yeah, we're good to go to end the fight after an L2 here. We've got 2 Furies. We're gonna, end this Mojo very quickly. So I, yeah, just a normal Doom combo this time. No silliness like last time. And L2. And yeah, the fight's over. Really a fairly simple fight. If you pop that PS1, you can definitely keep it under control. And yeah, next up we have a Civil Warrior. We're turning on 3 out of 3 Pacify with mags. It will turn off everything about this fight, really. You just want to keep most of your hits to your stuns and make sure to not heavy, make sure to parry before your L3. If you parry before your L3, it can't truck the bleeds. Here I go, I just make sure I have 3 out of 3 Pacify on. I thought I had it turned on originally, and I was right, but it can never hurt to double check. And yeah, we still have a PS1 on from Mojo, and I'm boosted massively, so this will be a fairly quick fight, and um, hey, there really shouldn't be any danger here. It's a very easy fight with Magneto. You see, I parry just before magnetism hits, and he gets power gain from that. Not that it really matters. He does go unstoppable off of this, but you can just easily back off. The fight's so quick that backing off like that is not going to hurt you. You definitely have the time to just take it slow, and yeah. Magneto just putting in work. We're getting those heavies charged up. We're about to bait his L2. The reason I prefer baiting an L2 for Civil Warrior is because the L2s don't trigger the armor up. And now we want to parry and throw our L3. And the fight is effectively over at this point. I don't think the L3 actually kills, but I literally don't think it would be possible for him to kill me before the bleeds kill him. Like, even if I just ate a combo here, I'm pretty sure I would still win the fight and everything. So yeah, win fight. And then a 54 Mangog with Doom. This is a bit of an interesting one. I thought UA was going to make it a lot more difficult, and it added some complexity to the fight for sure. Previously, this Mangog on 54, it was an extremely simple Doom fight, previously. And now there is a level of added complexity. But I do think overall the Mystic Dispersion can definitely help you. Um, and yeah, we're just getting prepared to throw our L1 at. This was the planning I had timed for my L1 to get that Mystic Dispersion. And yeah, now we're gonna just throw these lights. I probably should have done a 4th light. I don't know why I didn't do a 4th light. Kind of silly, and now we're just blocking. If I eat the L2, that's the thing about Doom, is he can actually survive eating that L2, which is why he's so good for this matchup. And now that I know he's perfectly fine to do it here with UA, I'm probably going to go back to taking this with Doom now. Since UA seems to make it safer if you're able to control UA with Mystic Dispersion, it seems to genuinely be safer than before. Here, I should have done a shortened combo, and I didn't, and that put me out of control there. And I mess up with UA here, I forget about the timer, and then I throw it just slightly too early before it expires, so he doesn't go stun me in here. So just, mistake after mistake. But since Doom is so good in this fight and so flexible with his strategy for the fight, we're still in a comfortable place, I really love the flexibility and comfort that Doom provides in this matchup. And then we wait out UA, and we should have done a lights, but I did not because I am dumb. So another mistake, but all just learning the fight. It's not my cleanest work, but I'm confident I'll be able to do even better next time I take this fight. And we did solo this anyway, so all works out. And we throw that out too, and fight's over.